Hello everyone, this is Mariella. I'm the Chair of Academic Senate, and in this video blog I'm summarizing the top 5 issues discussed at the April Senate meeting. The full agenda to the Senate meeting is available on the Senate website, and the URL is below. And for this particular meeting, because it was conducted via Zoom, we took a flipped classroom approach where people presenting papers pre-recorded a quick summary of the paper for the senators, and the senators watched these recordings prior to the meeting, which allowed us to use the meeting alone just to focus on the questions and suggestions for the presentations. So here are the top 5 items for the April Senate meeting. First of all were a number of student-led questions and questions on notice that came to the Senate meeting. They all really reflected the COVID-19 situation, and they were addressed in the meeting and also in the lead up to the meeting, or they were addressed through the items in the agenda themselves. So first of all, there was, as a consequence of these questions, we discussed a number of issues, including the provision of student amenities online during the COVID-19 situation, and the Executive Director of Student Engagement and Registrar provided a summary of the student communications that went out about these amenities, and of course there is more information on the online zone on the Macquarie website. We discussed the transitions of experiential units to online teaching and what feedback channels are available for students during the rollout of teaching. And so the advice was that to use the Associate Dean's Learning and Teaching in each faculty. And since the meeting, the PVC Learning and Teaching, the Pro-Vice Chancellor Learning and Teaching, has also launched a survey to all students that's available through iLearn. A question was raised whether what the potential is for the university to increase in future its online teaching, and this was discussed. That no definitive answer is available yet on this, but if students were indicating that they were responding well to online study, this is certainly something the university could consider. We discussed grading practices in light of COVID-19, and the university has taken the approach not to record a fail grade for students who have failed, but a special grade, and students would then have to retake that unit at a later stage if necessary. And there was also information about the extension of scholarships and duration of candidature for higher degree research students. A lot of these details are actually articulated on the COVID-19 response website, on the university's website. Topic number 2 was the update on the various Senate projects. The first Senate project was the response to the external review. So Senate was reviewed by an external reviewer, and there were a number of recommendations. And the Secretary to Senate, the Executive Director, Student Engagement and Registrar, was chairing a working group that developed a response to the recommendations. And the senators were presented with a draft response, and there were discussions about the draft response. Now the working group will finalize an implementation plan, which will come to May for senators to consider. The second project we discussed was the review of the composition of Academic Senate. This is a working group I'm chairing. The need for this working group arose in February in response to the dissolution of the Faculty of Human Sciences, and senators were provided some feedback on the draft composition, particularly on the recommendation around a sessional staff representation on Senate and on the processes to assess gaps in expertise and diversity on Senate. The recommendations have gone back to the working group and will return for consideration to Senate in the May meeting. Finally, Professor Kathleen is chairing a review of the general coursework rule for practical, clinical and professional programs, and she presented an update on the project, and the senators discussed the need for greater clarity about the relation between the general coursework rule and the inherent requirements framework. Topic number 3 was cohort monitoring. The Deputy Vice-Chancellor Academic is chairing a steering group to oversee a program of work streamlining the university's processes in cohort monitoring of academic quality and outcomes. So what we mean here is student cohorts. This is an important piece of work that we're currently in need to implement. The executive manager of the office of the DVCA has provided an overview on the project. It has already been discussed at the Academic Senate Quality Committee, and the proposal includes a workflow of how cohort data, for example, student performance, pass rates, fail rates, for example, would flow through to various committees, university committees and Senate committees for input and recommendations. So that was discussed, and some feedback was provided to the process. Topic number 4 was the amendment to the special considerations procedure. We heard from the Deputy Chair of Senate that due to the COVID-19 situation, that we needed to change our procedure for allowing students who are affected by COVID-19 to provide evidence for the disruption and extend the deadline to apply for this special consideration. The current, and this is for normal semesters, for normal teaching periods, to extend that from a 5-day submission requirement to a 15 working day submission requirements to particularly if students, because students are affected by COVID-19. This change to the special consideration procedure was advertised in this week and also on the student portal. I'd like to stress that the 15-day working days really just refer to normal teaching periods, not to situations where we teach in much shorter periods, such as MUIC. There, the 5 days remains. And topic number 5 was welcome to new senators. We welcomed Stephen Burke, who is a sessional staff representative. Stephen works in the Macquarie Business School and has joined Senate. Leanne Frames is a postgraduate coursework representative from the Faculty of Medicine, Health and Human Sciences. Maria Kotsoslakis is a representative as postgrad coursework, is an MBA student in Macquarie Business School. We welcome Shabnam Mohammed Shafiq, who is a representative for the Faculty of Medicine, Health and Human Sciences, a Bachelor of Clinical Science student. And we also welcome Professor Amanda Barnier, who is a co-opted ex officio member. She's the Pro-Vice Chancellor of Research Performance and a professor in the Department of Cognitive Sciences. So these were the 5 hot topics of the April Senate meeting. The next Senate meeting is on May 28th. It will again be a Zoom meeting, and because of the nature of Zoom, we cannot throw open the meeting to all observers as we usually do. However, if you would like to join the meeting for a particular reason, can you please contact Senate, and we'll try and make this available for you. That's it for me today, and I'll see you at the next blog. Bye-bye.